evening, class. My name is Professor Schniebelwein von Schniebelwitz, and today I will be teaching you in the class of Scholarology 101. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, this is a class where you will all study to be scholars, and I hope to make flourish and blossom a young scholar residing in every one of your hearts. But I hear some of you saying right now, but Professor Schnips, I don't want to be a scholar. I want to sing, and I can tell you right now that you need to stop that. There will be no singing in this classroom, and if that is your dream, you can leave right now. Now, for today, we will be going over some basic study skills, things I'm sure each and every one of you knows very well, but for the sake of this class, we need to have a brief overview of them at the beginning. So, first we have keep a clean and pristine workplace. It is very difficult to work in an unfamiliar environment. For example, if you are in a pool or a noisy club, it is very difficult to concentrate on your work because it is not familiar or comfortable to you, like your home. And so, it is always recommended by experts that you bring your scholarly satchel with you wherever you go. Inside of your scholarly satchel are certain items which will make any workplace at all familiar and comfortable to you. Everything in here has a purpose, and everything will help you to succeed in your scholarly studies. For example, in here I have a few works to inspire me, such as works by J.R.R. Tolkien, Charles Dickens, Charles Schulz, writer of Peanuts. This here is the Rubik's Cube, and this serves to remind you that there are many people in this world who are much smarter than you will ever be. And if you study hard enough, soon you too may be smart enough to solve this dreaded thing. This here is a leg. It serves to remind you that while you are inside working and slaving away over some boring dribble, other people are outside having fun. And only through hard work may you join them. Somewhere in here. Another problem with the scholarly satchel is that it's not a very convenient way to fetch items. Oh yes, here we have the last few items. This is the comb and the sprayer, and this is just because sometimes when you're studying your hair gets all messy. It's always nice to have a clean hair. This here is the next thing that you need as a scholar, because sometimes when you're working, you just get hungry. And if you get up and leave, you'll never come back to your work. So it is always recommended that you bring your snack sack with you wherever you go. And inside here have a bunch of snacking tools, such as the apple, a classic. Here we have the orange, Santa Claus's favorite. Oh, this is the item I'm looking for. This is the top. It's supposed to go in your scholarly satchel, and it reminds you that by following these techniques, you'll become the top in your class. Here I have a few packs of crackers, some Kool-Aid if you get a bit thirsty, some cereal, pita bread, and flour, which is really a multi-purpose tool. Some assembly required, of course. And now we have a perfect, proper, pristine workplace, and now we move on to the second step, which is proper posture and positioning. Now, when you are working, it is most important that you are situated correctly. Some very amateur scholars take the classic route, tilt their feet up on their desk, tilt back in their chair and relax, but this is a bad idea. Because on account of just how incredibly boring the stuff you're reading is, if you get in this position, you're likely to fall asleep. Now, some expert scholars look at this and say, then what you should do is contort your body into uncomfortable positions to make it easier to pay attention. I can confess that this does not work as well as many think. And so, I take the middle route. You have your back straight, you have your hands clasped before you, and your eyes intent on what it is you're working on. Every part of this is important. Your hands are clasped together so they can't slap on the table. Your back is straight so you're not too comfortable, but you're not too uncomfortable, and most importantly, you don't look like a fool. And now we move on to the third step, prudent pause to prevent distraction. This is just because sometimes when you're working, there are some people who just won't leave you alone. So it is always recommended that you have ways in mind to get rid of these intruders. There are 2 steps to this approach, and first, you want to try the diplomatic approach. You need to have a few responses ready to dispel any unwanted attention. Sometimes you may be sitting and some fellow will come in trying to distract you with stuff like you didn't pay your taxes or your house is on fire. But if you have a few words prepared, it is quite easy to dispel them. A few phrases that I keep in mind are, I'm sorry I'm working right now. I'm sorry I'm unavailable. Please make an appointment with my secretary. Or get away from me, you nude-faced blubber monkey. If none of these diplomatic steps work, then you move on to the second step, which is the universally understood sign for get away from me. Now, this is easier to demonstrate than it is to tell, so I will need a volunteer from the audience, somebody who was not present at my last session last night, preferably. Mr. Drent. Now I will be seated here working on my scholarly duties, and Mr. Drent will come forth, and he will bother me with some annoying thing, and I will dispel him. First using the diplomatic approach, and then the universally understood sign. Let me begin.
Hey, wanna play soccer?
I'm sorry, I'm working right now. This really isn't a good time.
Sure.
I'm sorry, please make an appointment with my secretary. This really is not, I've got a lot of work this evening. And that was the universally understood sign for get away from me. You have 2 devices planted in your ears to imply that you have no interest in anything they have to say. And then the anyang comes from the ancient Hindu term for get away from me. So there you have it. Those are your basic study skills, much needed tools for every burgeoning young scholar. And that is the end of our course for today. So remember to keep a clean and pristine workplace, a proper posture and positioning, and remember your prudent pause to prevent distractions. Thank you. I was Professor Schnipp, and that is all for today.